Alright, the Electric Motor Division, SD45, Section 4, Locomotive Surface Manual with the central air system strips and the air system taken with the car body with the locomotive is supplied with three separate parts with the engine cooling, the dynamic braking, grid cooling, the central system, the motor, the generator cooling system, engine fuel combustion compartment pressurization. Section of the locomotive maintenance fan with the cover of the central system with the components of which with the air and airtight with the compartment with the figure 4 1 located with the disc directly behind the locomotive cab. The rear air of the electrical cab now with the various electrical resistors with the motor mount tower with the utilized and cool air valve available to make sure with the front of the wall air compartment, the back of the wall is with the AR10 with the generator portion filled with the ground with the generator, one opening to provide with the air with the engine, and then another opening to provide for the auxiliary generator with the blower drive. The hose side of the roof with the generator pit with the complete with the central air compartment, ambient air enter the compartment through the car body into aerial filters located with the high side of the hood of the filters are made with the wedge with the shape itself. Figure 4-2 with the half of the shape slot for the forming each with the wall wedge. The demand for the device for the draw air for the central compartment, the create the air pressure the depression within the compartment, the outside of the air with rapidly through the wedge shape itself with the dirt particle with the big cup, the heavier in the air, intended for the travel to the start line with the air covered. Care with the bleed duct located in the air end of the web of the main portion from the air with the separate with the action in air with the dirt with the care of the chain with the direction properly passing through the narrow side with the fast end for the compartment that has clean air with the bleed air contained with the dirt draw through the electrical driven bleed blower is expelled through the roof of the locomotive. Approximately 2/3 of the filter air go over the generator, the traction blower to provide the cooling air for the generated motor, supplementary air, supplementary U for the do made to the traction motor cooling air with the following manner: to provide the pressure contactor counteract the pressure depression from the central compartment that enables the aspirator figure 4-3 to drain with the water the generator pit. Provide pressure with the engine air filter in order to alter the mode of the operation, prevent filter from being drawn into the high speed engine speeds over the higher speeds. Air from the generator blower is applied with the first cold AR10 rectifier being for the pass through the generator of the engine room, the crate of the slight engine room pressure for the 10 with the keep of the dirt from the engine room filtered air through the engine room, the air supplied with the air compressor, and however the air the compressor is provided on its own intake filter assembly. Alright, this one. 4-1 is the central car body system. 1 is the outside air intake with the intake filters. 2, cleaning air in sealed compartment. 3, the blower dry air carrying the dirt with the blow. 4, intake air engine with the oil bath filter. 5, clean air into the engines. 6 would be intake of the traction motor blower. 7, the intake of the generator blower. 8, cooling air ducts with the traction motor. 9. Generator cooling air pressure of the engine compartment. 10. Outline sealed central air compartment. 11. The access panel. Figure 4-2 in and air filter cell. 1. Outside air intake. 2. Clean air into the sealed compartment. 3. Blower drive and air carrying dirt. Inspection maintenance of the central air system compartment inspection. If any of the leaks of the central air compartment is unfiltered with it will enter, they may be caught with any of the following defects. 1. Access panel remote bolts removed. This shows the 4-3 the generator pit as the aspirator show the traction motor blower duct. Access to the panel gasket with the seal is not properly applied with the compartment of the door with the properly sealed glove of the engine room portion with the attached with the cover plate not properly applied. The seal of the generator pit aspirator was not properly connected. Aspirator inspection of the intervals stipulated with the scheduled maintenance program to inspect with the main generator pit aspirator figure 4-3. As well as check the aspirator drain hole for the operation of third traction check with the attractor motor for the cooling air for the exhausting of the aspiration tube because of the venturi for the aspirating drain hole for the faulty bleed and blower operation for the efficiency of the main aerial car body. Air filters will significantly reduce the bleed blower for the faulty with the bleeder blow are not operating. Unfiltered air drawn through the bleed blower exhaust stack with the improper electrical connection is made with the blower may run with the backward result of the large drop with the lower effectiveness either of the aforementioned in condition with the excessive amount of the dirt being blown with the generator, the traction motor drove the oil bath of the engine filter will be effectively clean the air tank with the engine by added burden plate for the engine filter maybe bring the need of the early change of the filter oil and eliminate sludge. Proper operation for the bleed blower can be readily verified with the following manner. Climb to the top of the locomotive before the engine start to observe the squirrel cage blower through the exhaust hatch for the roof of the aerial filter compartment. When the engine is started, the blower will turn the vanes to move up to the top of the door to observe. Note, if not sufficient, merely check the air with the exhausting of the bleeder blower hatch if they've already been running in the engine squirrel cage for the blower with the running backward they still exhaust the air of the hatch for the may be greatly reduce the volume. Inspection of the car body and aerial filters. When the dirt accumulates within the air, it will filter settle itself with the vein of the pressure of the drop of the crop of the filter, increase the increase with the depression and increase inside of the filter compartment of the depression, increase with the car body and air. It will filter becomes less efficient within itself with not critical to sense the efficiency of the engine filter being the oil bath type that will not be effective. However, the filter compartment of the depression increase the traction motor of the generator blowers will take the air from the compartment that will put out less cooling air. When the pressure differential between the ambient and the filter compartment, the reach of the maximum value stipulated with the surface data page, cooling airflow with insufficient damage with the main generator of the traction motor is possible. It is not possible to determine the visual inspection whether the car body filter is sufficient clean or plugged with the maximum level of alignment. It is possible the filters appear to be very dirty and still provide adequate filtration, adequate cooling with air. If the dirt filter for the average dissipated with the adverse effect of the filtration, expect with the resulting increased pressure drop with the cooling blower if it must be worked against. However, the dirt is unevenly distributed. Filtering efficiency can be reduced without an increase of the pressure drop. It has been determined that expanding air and aerial filtering should be concluded intervals with a scheduled maintenance program, and the recommendation should be filed with even the filter compartment depression below the maximum allowable value. However, the compartment depends on the C of the maximum. Anytime between the scheduled and the claim for the filter should be increased immediately clean. Check the filter compartment. The filter compartment depression may be checked with the operating with addition within appearance of the filter. Seem to warn that the check. Performing the following caution: do not allow the satisfactory filter for the compartment depression reading to be examined with the filter interval stipulated with the scheduled maintenance program. Hey, locomotive cab, opening the switch of the full compartment door connected with 1/4 inch of the internal diameter of the rubber hose. The hose stem of the figure 144 located on the sidewall of the compartment connected to the other end of the hose with the U-tube, the manometer on the pressure of the measuring device. To operate the diesel engine until the warm into the reverse level, the neutral position, generate field view for the remove of the through the dial notch 8 position. Loading is not necessary if the filtering compartment discretion is less than minimum stipulated with the data page makes determined that all the certain air of the compartment of the panel of the portion with the cover of the plate and properly applied with it, there is no bypass of the car body filters. When the filter are clean with the center control air of the compartment of depression should be near the value stipulated with the surface tab of the depression reading with greater than the maximum of the stipulated are closed with the intermediate cleaning of the CA hoodie with the internal filters. Cleaning of the car body and aerial the cleaning of the car body and aerial filters. The car body and aerial filters. Approved of the recommended method of the cleaning of the car body filter, the immersion with the hot caustic detergent bath, followed by cold wash of the filter should be removed from the locomotive clean within intervals prescribed in the scheduled maintenance program. Figure 4 shows the hose stem for the manometer with the hose stem for the manometer connection. Also, the filter should be also cleaned with the filter with the compartment depression will exceed with the maximum value with the show with the surface tab for both the compartment depression reading should not be used with the scheduled cleaning interval. Move of the cleaning procedure within order to facilitate the air filter can change over the spare of the setting with the filters may be available with the rapid change of the exchange with the dirty filter stuff with the available the replacement assembly will allow the proper cleaning with the plate mainly with the filter with the assembly with the tying of the pit up the pit locomotive. Caution observe the filter interchangeable specification with the server the data page to remove the air filter and assembly with the locomotive performing the following the engine room with the position adjacent with the turbocharger remove the 22x and 1/2 20 screw with the filter compartment access for the panel engine room with the compartment with the portion that provide the access for the clamps on the dirt evacuation hose to figure 11 figure 4-1. Loosen the clamps on the hose to connect the aerial filter to the dustbin with the blade below over the assembly. Raise the rubber hose so that the hose is freely in the filter assembly from the outside of the locomotive. Remove the 10 1/2 inch 13 hex edge bolts. Split with the lock washer holding the aerial filter and the screen of the filter opening. Remove the screen with the figure 4-5 to show with the cross sectional view with the air with the filter and screen air attached to the locomotive hood. 4 thread several lifting eye with the hole of the figure 1/2 and 13 threads bolts over the attaching the suitable lifting device for the filter assembly. Each of the filter assembly weighing approximately 600 pounds. From the inside of the central air compartment, loosen the flare nut for the connecting the drain pipe with the underside of the filter assembly. Bend with the tube slightly away from the filling of the pipe with the wrench. Remove the pipe nipple attached to the elbow from the filter of the assembly. This is done to allow the removal of the filter assembly, avoid the damage of the pipe fitting to avoid less elbow of the nipple for the mouth may be temporarily fastened to the flare nut. The remove of the 16 hex nut for 1/2 inch 13 thread bolt for the whole of the filter assembly and plate for the remove of the filter assembly with the car body. Discard the pressure sensitive back tape type of the gasket material with the filter flange. Place the entire filter assembly in the hot plastic detergent bath until the clean the time required for the cleaning. Figure 4-5 an aerial filter screen attachment cross sectional bolt. Locomotive side protrude the accommodated motor of the generator bolt rubber weather seal and aerial filter assembly 1/2 inch 13 bolt 1/2 inch 13 thread bolt and inlet screen and pressure sensitive adhesive back tape type gasket material. will depend upon the type of the bath, the tube, the temperature for the condition for the filter. 10. When the filter is removed from the caustic with the half, filter should be given a clear cold wash. Let the dry of the filter flames. Apply the new pressure sensitive to the back tape side gasket. 12. The reinsert the filter screen. Reconnect the water drain pipe with the reconnect the hose between the dustbin with the below the assembly. 4. 13. Tap the hose clamp. Then after inspecting the gasket material, the excess of the cover, the replace for the access place, reapply the screws. 4. Throw caution. Make sure the hose is correctly mated with the dustbin with the openings before the tightening of the hose clamp. Check all the connections to the see all the no leaks and check the filter compartment with the depression. Engine air filter general description. Engine air filter figure 4. Stick the mount with the conventional air compartment on top of the main with the general with the oil bath filter with the relies on the old wetted data to remove the dirt particles in the air through the drawn through. If the filter media is both wetted and washed by the filter oil with the drawn by the force or air with the oil sump upon the filter L and filtering media. Filtering operation incoming engine for the front side with the back of the filtering housing through the opening of the forms of the structural iron leg with the separated with the drip pan with the oil pump with the main body with the filter assembly the air passes through a pair of perforated plates, either of the perforation with which the cover the disc of the elevated with the force incoming the air with the opening of the perforated plate with the calibrated increase the velocity of the air through the adjustment proper amount with the pickup of the oil with the tends to split over the edge of the holes. At the same time, move the disc of the variable flow of the axle, the distributed axle uniformly over the flat filtered padded area. Oil and dirt air carried up aboard with a perforated plate with the primary filter pad with the dirt is collected by the pad with the clean air passed through the pad with the cool dirt is washed out with the oil with the drain with the low edge of the pad into the channel of the pipe with the return with the dirt oil sump with the accumulated sludge settled at the bottom of the sump. Secondary patch cache all the oil did not adhere with the primary pad. However, the air velocity through the filter becomes too great. Oil will pass through the secondary pad into the end of the manner which will prevent him showing the following with the explanation how the oil was drawn in the perforated plate with the filter pads. Operation pneumatic on lift. The restriction of the airflow can caused by the perforated plate with the verified the flow to develop the pressure drop the crop with the perforated plate with the big cut with the pressure with the drain. The drop of the oil with the spill with the drop outlet from the aspirator cup with the lift of the tube with the full flow of oil through the supplied oil sump with the filtering media with the top of the perforated plate with the curve with the following manner. Pressure inside the lift tube with the left of the automatic atmospheric pressure surface of the oil cap oil from the sump with the oil through the air is the rise of the aspirator cup. This shows figure 146 show the air filter schematic diagram. Show the air filter and schematic diagram. From the bottom, the oil flow, oil sump, oil level sight glass, moving the air pressure from the below into the duct of the oil sump, the oil air pressure aspirator cap, moving into the oil droplets into the incoming air. Into the oil drain pipe, the self-cleaning the filter pad, mis-elemented pad, and drops clean air with the retained clips to verify the air filter schematic diagram. Let's see details on figure 4 with the refrigerant to all of the cup of the end of the aspirator hole with the cup of the below with the level of the outstanding with the cup of the jets of the air through the aspirator hole with the sufficient velocity for the break of the oil, surface tension, creating the oil drop of the air oil mixture combined with the air with the entering the aspirator hole with above the oil level to provide the sufficient lift to deliver the oil level of the area above the perforated plate. The small oil particles are carried and lifted in the filtering pad. Lower drops are filled with the fall with the perforated pad plate with the room the film with the picked up with the carried for the filtering pad and force of the incoming air through the airflow valves. Your aspirator cutoff. The sum of the detail of the figure 460 over the traction motor blow over the pressure with the insufficient with the flow of the oil with the aspirator cup with the required with the base with we cover the space with the restrictions limited with the side of the oil bath filter and the velocity made in the intake air for the higher engine speeds would be covered the oil to be drawn from the mist eliminator pad into the engine. Method G with the preventing filter oil with the being drawn with the engine is cut off with the aspiration engine speed with the reach of the specific throttle position the done with the taking the pressure with the proper reach of the engine speed the traction motor blower duct directing the aspirator assembly with the detail of the figure 460 with the show of the air pressure with the calibrated orifice with the line with the prevent the oil rising for the aspirator coupled with the pressure be great enough. After the aspirator cut off with the filter access, then oil wetted impregnant filter with the sufficient capacity to operate with a continuously high throttle from over a day without plugging the filter. So the locomotive does not operate continuously. Nah. Okay, continuously high throttle with such a long period with the filter, maybe plugging will not occur with the filter, maybe clean with the adequately re-oil with the engine is operating with the idle low throttle position with about 15 minutes every 15 minutes every few hours. Maintenance operation of the engine oil bath filter should be checked with the intervals stipulated with the scheduled maintenance program. The filter's oil should be changed with the filter cleaned with the start of the day with the intervals for the short of the intervals operating with condition warning. The filter oil must be type of the indicator. The serve of the data, the oil level of the oil cycle life located with the side of the oil. Some of the oil level should be checked with after the engine from the being allowed for at least 5 minutes to allow the system to balance. The oil level should be the center of the cycle life of the oil should be checked immediately after the engine shutdown is allowed. The center of the glass will ride the top of the gas for about 20 minutes. Of the frequent addition from the oil is necessary. An investigation should be made to determine where the oil is being lost. If no external leak is found, the aspirator cutoff may be default, but the oil is being drawn into the engine. Under normal conditions, there should be no need for the oil between the scheduled oil changing. Alright, checking the aspirator cutoff. The aspirator cutoff can be checked with looking with the flashlight up through the variable flow of the valve, the door of the filter pad, with the locomotive running with the various throttle position. When the oil is being aspirated, the tiny droplets can be seen with the dairy through the door and filter pad. The aspirator cutoff should occur with the throttle. Position located with the serve of the data page glove with the central air compartment door while making the check with the aspirator cutoff with the not working check with the following. The hose connection with the traction motor blower duct with the filter sump with the intact of the screw of the aspirator cutoff with the orifice plug with the air pressure from the line is inside the sump leaking for a different additive type of the oil is used instead of the recommended oil. Caution. Additive type of the oil can keep the dirt and particles in the suspension, increase the tendency to emit for the vibe. Then check with the aspirator cutoff with the check with the airflow valve with the operate with the properly the valve with the retaining clip in good condition. Proceed for the checking aspirator cutoff with the water with the engine at the idle. Check the oil level, the wood should be the center of the side glass, the check the oil level of delivery coupled with the dip skip. Oil level should be made with 1 inch deep, increase the engine speed with the 8th throttle within 3 minutes after reaching the 8th throttle with the delivery couple should be empty with the reduce the throttle run 6 miles out with the engine run at the speed of 3 minutes. If the aspirator cup is operating properly, there will be no oil level in the delivery cup. 4. Return the engine idle within 3 minutes of the oil level. The delivery cup should be the minimum of 1 inch deep. Checking the filter oil wash. The periodic check should be made with the verify the aspirator working properly, filtering immediately as being the wash for the oil, the filter air, and intake of the air with the coated with the dry dirt with the proper aspiration not to take of the blade. The following items should be checked. Check the proper filter over the oil level. Check the oil level of the aspiration cup with at least 1.5 inches of space over the metal can be used with the dipstick to verify the proper type of the oil is being used and the filters clean the filter. A drain plug with the provide with the bottom of the oil sump with the after the oil is drained with the plate for the plug temporarily with the use of the kerosene spray to clean the very flow of the valve of the oil drip of the pan surface of the drain without the kerosene with the scraping tool to clean the sludge for the sump with the bulk of the sludge as removed the further kerosene spray may be used with this wash down the remaining sludge with a brush or some of the pointed object check with the hole for the aspirator cup to clear with a wipe out the slump of the shop towel to add the type of the oil specified on the surface data page. Oil level should be in the center of the cycle glass filtering and of the eliminator pads needed. The surface thing should not be distributed unless there is definite indication of the malfunction. Should there be some rare condition, make necessary clearing of the filter with the muscle eliminator pads to the face. And first necessary to remove the inertial filter's roof hatch from the locomotive of the unbolt. Remove the filter top of the plate, lift out the pads, and clean them with the kerosene or hot water. Your service data sheet for your central air system routine maintenance parts and equipment. The pressure sensor for the back tape type gas T 16 by 3/4 inch rubber cork 115 100 foot length 1/16 by 1/7 rubber cork 100 foot in length rubber weather seal specification minimum allowable central air compartment depression 2 inches of high water maximum allowable central air compartment depression 5 inches of water engine oil water bath number time weighted with non-detergent low additive mineral oil 11.5 gallons aspirator cutoff point maximum 6 throttle position. Limits of paper engine air filters maximum pressure drop of the car body primary filter engine filter 10 inches of hot water. The caution limited may exceed the 12 inches of water of the pressure drops carefully regularly mounted with the manometer with the reading with the full engine speed with no load. Failure to observe the limits of the may result in excessive turbine inlet temperature and property reading with the high altitudes. Supplementary data procedure filter interchangeable with the SD45 and aerial filters inlet screens are interchangeable with the SD40 filter screens but not with other models. That was the Section 4 Locomotive Service Manual Electric Motor Division SD45 Locomotive.